A major geopolitical shift is unfolding across the Gulf region, where long-standing alliances are being tested and new power centers are beginning to assert themselves. At the center of this transformation is Russia's renewed push into the Middle East, Iran's increasingly assertive strategic messaging, and the complex balancing act of Gulf nations navigating between global powers. Russia is openly signaling its intent to deepen its engagement with Gulf countries. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has emphasized that Moscow views nations such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates not just as partners, but as long-term strategic allies. He highlighted that Russia considers Gulf countries good friends and key partners, underscoring the importance of expanding bilateral cooperation. This messaging reflects a broader strategic recalibration. Moscow is positioning itself as a central actor in an emerging multipolar world, one where the dominance of Western alliances is increasingly challenged. Over the past decade, Russia has steadily strengthened its relationships with Gulf states. High-level diplomatic engagements, including visits by Vladimir Putin, have reinforced Moscow's presence in the region, particularly in energy cooperation and security discussions. For Gulf nations, Russia represents more than just another partner. It offers an alternative geopolitical alignment at a time when confidence in traditional Western security guarantees appears to be under pressure. There is growing sentiment in parts of the region that reliance on the United States alone may no longer be sufficient in an increasingly unpredictable security environment. At the same time, Russia's central role in global energy markets makes it an attractive partner for oil-producing Gulf economies. Coordinated production strategies and shared interests in stabilizing global oil prices have strengthened ties between Moscow and Gulf capitals. Yet these countries are not abandoning their Western alliances. Instead, they are pursuing a careful balancing strategy, maintaining ties with Washington while exploring deeper cooperation with Moscow and other emerging powers. This strategic recalibration is taking place amid an intensifying regional conflict involving Iran, the United States, and Israel. The situation has dramatically altered the security landscape across the Gulf. Military exchanges, rising tensions, and threats to critical infrastructure have turned the region into one of the most volatile arenas in global geopolitics. One of the most sensitive flashpoints is the Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes. Any disruption in this corridor has immediate global consequences, affecting energy prices, shipping routes, and economic stability far beyond the Middle East. Against this backdrop, Iran has issued one of its most direct and provocative messages to Gulf nations in recent memory. Through its military leadership, Tehran is not only challenging the presence of U.S. forces in the region, but also questioning the very foundation of Gulf security alliances. What good have U.S. bases brought you? And if Israel attacks, will America fire even a single bullet to defend you? These statements reflect a broader strategic narrative that Iran is pushing, one aimed at undermining trust in Western alliances and encouraging regional countries to reconsider their dependence on external powers. Iran is framing the current moment as a historic turning point, urging Gulf nations and the wider Islamic world to adopt a new approach to security and cooperation. Its leadership is appealing to shared identity, religious solidarity, and the idea of regional self-reliance. He said, "Hello, Muslim brothers, we absolutely do not need a state that is thousands of kilometers away to ensure our security." He added, "We do not need a state that views Islamic countries as merely a milking cow." These remarks form part of a broader ideological argument that reliance on Western powers has failed to provide lasting security and that regional unity is the only viable path forward. Iran is not stopping at rhetoric. It is actively proposing a new regional security framework that excludes both the United States and Israel. This proposed system would be led by regional powers and built around collective cooperation among Islamic nations. He said, "The time has come today for us as Muslims to stand firmly on our own feet." Alongside this messaging, Iran has laid out a series of demands that could significantly reshape the region's strategic landscape. These include the removal of U.S. military bases from the Gulf, the lifting of international sanctions, guarantees against future military action, and an end to Israeli operations targeting Iranian allies such as Hezbollah. One of the most controversial elements of Iran's position is its insistence on maintaining its missile program without restrictions. Additionally, Tehran is seeking a greater role in controlling the Strait of Hormuz, including the possibility of imposing transit-related conditions that could directly impact global energy flows. The United States has firmly rejected these demands. Under the leadership of Donald Trump, Washington has taken a hardline stance, describing Iran's proposals as unrealistic and unacceptable. The U.S. continues to emphasize its commitment to regional security while warning of severe consequences if Iran escalates further. At the same time, the United States maintains strong military and strategic ties with Gulf nations, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and others. However, the current situation has introduced new complexities. Gulf countries are increasingly aware of the risks associated with being caught in the middle of a broader confrontation. This is where Russia sees an opportunity. Moscow's growing engagement with both Iran and Gulf nations allows it to position itself as a flexible and influential actor in the region. By maintaining relationships across different sides of the geopolitical divide, Russia is expanding its influence while potentially positioning itself as a mediator. What is emerging in the Gulf is not just a regional conflict, but a broader transformation of the global order. The traditional model, where the United States served as the primary security guarantor, is being challenged by a more complex and multipolar system. In this evolving landscape, Gulf nations are no longer relying on a single alliance. Instead, they are diversifying their partnerships, strengthening regional cooperation, and preparing for a future defined by uncertainty and competition among global powers. Russia's growing engagement, Iran's assertive strategy, and the United States' continued presence are all shaping a new reality in the Gulf. Each actor is pursuing its own interests, but their actions are deeply interconnected. The region is becoming a central arena for global influence where economic interests, security concerns, and ideological narratives intersect. Decisions made here will have far-reaching consequences affecting not only the Middle East, but also global markets, energy supplies, and international stability. For now, Gulf nations appear to be navigating this shifting landscape with caution. They are maintaining existing alliances while exploring new opportunities, seeking to balance competing interests without committing fully to any single power. Whether Russia's engagement will translate into a deeper strategic role, whether Iran's vision for a new security order will gain traction, and whether the United States will maintain its dominant position, these are questions that remain unanswered. What is clear, however, is that the Gulf is entering a new phase, one defined by shifting alliances, rising tensions, and an increasingly complex geopolitical environment where the stakes have never been higher.